did President Nixon call the moon on a landline in 1969? Let's break down exactly how NASA says it worked. NASA's official explanation. NASA says Nixon's call to the Apollo 11 astronauts was a standard telephone call, but it was relayed through an advanced communication system. Here's how it supposedly worked. Nixon used a regular landline at the White House. The call was routed through NASA's Mission Control in Houston. Houston then transmitted Nixon's voice to the Goldstone Deep Space Communications Complex in California, which had an 85-foot radio antenna. The signal was beamed 239,000 miles to the moon, where the lunar module's VHF radio picked it up. Armstrong and Aldrin responded, and their voices were sent back to Earth the same way. Sounds simple, right? But here's why it shouldn't have worked. The problems with the moon phone call. 1. The missing signal delay. The moon is 239,000 miles away, and radio signals take 1.3 seconds one way, meaning Nixon's call should have had at least a 2.6-second delay in responses. Yet, in the broadcast, Armstrong and Aldrin respond instantly, faster than even 1960s transatlantic calls. Even if Mission Control relayed the call instantly, you'd still hear the delay in the astronauts' responses, but there's barely any. 2. The weak lunar transmitter. The lunar module's radio had only 12 watts of power, about the strength of a household Wi-Fi router. Transmitting a clear, two-way conversation across 239,000 miles with such low power? Highly unlikely. NASA's Deep Space Network needed massive radio dishes just to pick up Apollo signals, yet Nixon's voice came through crystal clear? 3. Earth's 1969 communication limitations. Long-distance calls in 1969 were unreliable. They had static, dropouts, and delays even across the U.S. Transatlantic calls required undersea cables or early satellites, which still had long pauses and interference. But somehow, Nixon's call to space, and even greater distance, worked perfectly with no issues. Before, radio interference and ionosphere distortion signals from the moon had to pass through Earth's ionosphere, which causes distortion and signal loss. But Nixon's call had no static or interference. Solar radiation and cosmic noise should have affected the transmission, yet the audio is flawless. Number 5. A perfect two-way conversation. The Apollo system supposedly allowed full duplex communication, meaning both parties could talk at the same time, like a modern cell phone. But even military radios in 1969 often used push-to-talk half-duplex, meaning only one person could speak at a time. Somehow, Nixon's call functioned like a perfect two-way conversation, despite the extreme distance and limitations of 1960s tech. So, could Nixon really